Welcome to Hatman Strikes Back Daily Boxing News. So we got Martin Bakole taking on Efe Ajagba on the Canelo undercard tonight in a 12-round heavyweight contest, according to BoxRec. Now we all know what happened in Martin Bakole's last fight against Joseph Parker. Took the fight basically on 24 hours notice, flew into Saudi Arabia jet-lagged, completely out of shape, and got chinned in 2 rounds. When he got stopped by Michael Hunter back in the days, and Billy Nelson kept saying, that wasn't the real Martin Bakole in there. I didn't accept that excuse. Bakole was in shape for that fight. Yes, he did injure his shoulder, but that was later on in the fight when he was already losing. And he tried to quit in the corner, and Billy Nelson literally forced him out. But with his performance against Joseph Parker, I am willing to accept that that was not the real Martin Bakole. He came in at a career heaviest 310 pounds. He looked slow, he looked rusty. But for this fight with Ajagba, there can be no excuses. He's at a full camp, plenty of time to prepare. Now, could there be residual psychological trauma from what happened to him against Joseph Parker? Potentially. But interestingly, Martin Bakole seems just as jovial since that defeat as ever. He's like this jolly giant type character. And in fact, he was like that immediately after the Joseph Parker fight, when he interviewed him. I want to say it's probably a good thing, but I'm not certain. Is he somebody that doesn't take boxing seriously? I don't know. But on the surface, he certainly seems to be taking that defeat in his stride. He's laughing and joking about it. He's almost like a stoner, laughing and joking about the night before when he smoked too much and passed out. That's his attitude regarding his knockout defeat to Joseph Parker. It's interesting, right? But what's also interesting is Martin Bakole's weight for this fight, because they weighed in yesterday, and far from being significantly lighter than he was for Joseph Parker, remember he was 310 for that fight, he weighed in yesterday at 299 pounds. So he's still fat as a pig, big as a house, only 11 pounds lighter. And 11 pounds for a much smaller man would be a lot of weight, but for somebody as big as Martin Bakole, 11 pounds isn't a lot. He's only 11 pounds lighter than he was for the Joseph Parker fight at 299 pounds. All right, he was 310 for that one. To put it in perspective, he was 284 pounds against Jared Anderson. So he's 15 pounds heavier here than he was for the Anderson fight. Almost 20 pounds heavier than he was against Shevadutsky. That was on the undercard of Rosansky versus Babbage. He's nearly 25 pounds heavier than he was when he fought Tony Yoka. He was 275 against Yoka. He's almost 50 pounds heavier than he was when he beat Sergey Kuzmin. He was 251 against Kuzmin, etc., etc., etc. With that being said, the first time he fought in Riyadh was against Carlos Takam, and he was also 299 pounds for that bout. That's the fight where a wasp apparently stung him in the mouth. And if you watch the footage of that bout, you will actually see the wasp flying around during the contest, and you can see Martin Bakole swat it away a few times. But anyway, Bakole coming in the joint second heaviest of his career, pretty much. 299 pounds against Ajagba. He was 299.5 pounds against Carlos Takam, so the difference is negligible. Now bear in mind, it's something like, 10 weeks since the Parker fight? So there are 2 ways you could look at this. One way would be to say Bakole's just not been training hard enough, hasn't been disciplined enough with his eating, and therefore he's not going to be at his best, coming in so heavy, 299 pounds. But another way to look at it would be to say, well, Bakole didn't have enough time to get his weight down to, let's say, 280 or 285 safely. So they've just focused on getting him cardiovascular fit and sharp in sparring and what have you. They haven't really focused too much on losing the pounds because of the time constraints. If he tried to lose, 15, 20 pounds in that time frame, perhaps it would have left him depleted. That might be the thinking of Bakole and his trainer Billy Nelson. I'm speculating here, obviously. In any event, he goes up against a man in Efe Ajagba who weighed in at a chiseled 240 pounds. Ajagba is always in shape. Ajagba turned pro back in 2017, 8 years ago, and he was 233 on his pro debut. He's only 7 pounds heavier than that for this fight. So again, the man's always in shape. Based in the US, but from Nigeria. He's got a record of 20-1 with 14 KOs, the sole defeat coming on points to Frank Sanchez several years ago. He's an orthodox fighter, 6'6" tall, with a massive 85-inch reach. And Ajagba is a very good puncher, particularly with the right hand. For my money, Efe Ajagba will be the biggest puncher that Martin Bakole's been in there with as a pro. And coming off the back of a knockout defeat, it's going to be interesting to see how he reacts when Ajagba clips him. And you have to figure that Ajagba will clip him at some point. Bakole's never been particularly difficult to hit. Ajagba certainly has the height and reach advantage in this fight as well. You can disregard the height that Martin Bakole is listed at on BoxRec, 6'6", there's no way he's the same height as Ajagba. There are many pictures of him standing next to Anthony Joshua, who's 6'6", and Martin Bakole's clearly shorter than him as well. I reckon Bakole might be 6'4.5", 6'5", something like that. Now, prior to the Parker defeat, I had Bakole as a firm favorite against Ajagba because of his strength, his punch volume, his fluidity, the power, the jab, the creativity in his combinations. Ajagba's very upright and stiff, very robotic. I mean, if you think that Anthony Joshua is robotic, you ain't seen nothing until you watch Efe Ajagba. He's real robotic. And I figured that Martin Bakole would do a similar job to Ajagba, to what he did to Tony Yoka, perhaps. Maybe even get Ajagba out of there. But as I say, since seeing Martin Bakole stopped in 2 rounds by Parker, we know he wasn't in shape, probably jet lagged. That can affect your punch resistance. I get all that. But I can't unsee what I saw. Those images of Bakole on wobbly legs tumbling to the canvas. He got hit on the top of the head, and he said he's never been hit with a shot there before, and he was confused by the way his body reacted. Well, surely Efe Ajagba's going to be targeting that spot. So while I still make Martin Bakole favorite in this fight, I'm definitely giving Ajagba more of a shot than I previously did. I'll probably see it as a 60-40 in favor of Bakole. The press conference, by the way, if you haven't seen it, was particularly hilarious, with Bakole and Ajagba trading insults like 2 African uncles at a barbecue or something. It's Congo versus Nigeria, battling for the crown of #1 heavyweight in Africa. So yeah, I'm still tentatively picking Bakole to get the victory here. I think Ajagba's going to be a bit too basic, a bit too stationary. He's not a guy that can move around well like Joseph Parker, for example, not from what I've seen anyway. He's a bit of a potted plant. I want to say he has improved a bit over the past few years. He's strung together 5 wins on the spin, but he hasn't looked particularly impressive. I mean, to put it in perspective, he beat Zan Kossobutski by disqualification in a fight where Ajagba didn't look particularly comfortable, but Kossobutski appeared to have a panic attack. He did an Andrew Galotta and just kept throwing low blow after low blow after low blow till he got disqualified. And I thought that Ajagba really milked the final low blow that got Kossobutski disqualified. This was not a big heavy shot like the one Usyk got hit with against Dubois. This was literally a little tap in a clinch. And Ajagba was rolling around on the ground like some kind of football player. I'm talking about real football, soccer, not gridiron. Although I think that's a thing of the past now, isn't it? I don't watch football anymore. I'm talking about when a player gets the tiniest little tap on the ankle and he dives to the ground, rolling around in agony. That was a big thing in the 90s. But yeah, that's what Efe Ajagba was like in the Kossobutski fight. He also didn't look particularly impressive against Stefan Shaw. He won that fight on a UD. Stefan Shaw just stopped fighting midway through that one, weirdly. And then in Ajagba's most recent contest, which was over a year ago, so you got to bear that in mind, Ajagba's been out the ring for a long time here. In his most recent contest, he only got a split decision against Guido Vianello. Vianello just got beaten quite comfortably by Richard Torres Jr., whereas he hurt Efe Ajagba noticeably and pushed him very close over 10 rounds. One judge scored that fight in favor of Vianello. So yeah, as much as Ajagba has come back and he's got wins, they haven't been very convincing. There is a vulnerability about Ajagba. And I'm not talking so much about punch resistance, although he was dropped by Frank Sanchez and again hurt by Vianello, but more so a mental fragility. There's been several fights where Ajagba has looked distressed in there, like he half wanted to quit. And so when Martin Bakole comes in applying the pressure, as I expect him to, I don't know how well Ajagba's going to stand up to that. I think to give himself the best chance of victory here, he doesn't necessarily need to stop Martin Bakole early, but I think he needs to hurt him early to gain his respect so that Bakole doesn't just swarm all over him. Anyway, those are my thoughts on this one. I got Martin Bakole winning this fight. I'm still going to say by stoppage, around the 8th or the 9th maybe, but it's heavyweight boxing. Bakole's coming off a knockout defeat, so anything can happen. Let me know what you guys think about this one in the comment section below. Don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm out. Are you surrounded by mindless bots in human form who adhere to the norm and blindly conform? Who swallow all the mainstream BS and actually ridicule you for questioning things? Do you wish you had more free-thinking individuals in your life to network and converse with? Well, look no further. We're right here. Come and join the Brotherhood of Reason on Patreon. You'll gain access to my weekly topical content where we take deep dives on an endless variety of subjects, as well as my vast back catalogue of podcasts, videos, interviews, movie decodings, and my Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You'll also get to talk and network with myself and hundreds of other people in our members chat. You can enjoy all this via the Patreon app or on desktop and download all my podcasts in high quality MP3. There's no contract, no commitment. You can cancel at any time, just like Netflix, but it's a hell of a lot cheaper. Just download the app from the Play Store or the App Store, or simply visit patreon.com on a web browser. Then head on over to my page and select the tier called the Brotherhood of Reason. All the links are in the description box below. And just a quick money-saving tip for Apple users. If you purchase your Patreon subscription on the desktop site or on Android, then you'll avoid the ridiculous 30% fee that Apple charges for purchases made on the iOS app. So if you're on iPhone or iPad, save yourself some money by buying your subscription on the actual Patreon website or on Android, because it's a lot cheaper. Once you've made that initial purchase, you can then use the Patreon app on your iPhone or iPad thereafter to access and enjoy your content as normal.